Hey, what's happening everybody? Willie here at the Great Outdoors. Hey, lots of things happening right now. Lots of things. Been doing a lot of work on a lot of reels, a lot of fishing. Some things panned out, some didn't. I guess first thing that we'll go into for right now is things that didn't. The 1771. If you remember this reel, 1771, did a video on it not too long back, but because it had some issues, I didn't have a way to make it function. Found out that one of the reels that I got from Andy, the Sears, kind of an 1875 Shakespeare ripoff, cheaper version, the parts are identical inside, except for the rotor and the spool. I can't begin to tell you how happy I was that all these parts matched up, because then I could make the 1771 work. So I thought. So I took it out yesterday and tried to do a little fishing with it. Anyway, you can make about 8 or 10 casts before that happened. Let me get back here. Can you see all that line tangled around the center spool, or center shaft there, the pinion shaft? Well, let me just tell you that that is not how this reel is supposed to work. Now, using its factory cap and rotor, I believe is where the problem exists. Fortunately, the cap that came on that Sears reel, this fancy red one, also fits on there, which also I believe the rotor will as well. That's the next chance. That's the next shot. That's all we have. We're going to try rotor and other cap, red cap, and see if that works. If that works, then this reel should function. Now, there's a major difference between these two caps. Obviously, it doesn't go with the color scheme. But do we care about color or do we care about function? That's the trouble. I don't care if it matches color-wise or not. I want it to work. And if that other cap works and it can make the 1771 function, that'll be wonderful. And now we're going to give that a chance. Give it a shot. For those who are diehards and have to have all those parts back where they were, well, I got news for you. The inside, the gears, that's right, all the gears from that Sears reel are in this one now. And a lot smoother. That other reel had really never been used. Ever. I mean ever. So the gears are incredible in here. We just gotta, we have, this, it just not, it can't, I can't, this right here, after about the 67th time of taking this thing apart and trying to get this to come off and to make it not do this, I gave up. I just quit. I did. Because I knew there was an issue. Probably going to cut the camera off, put that other rotor on there and get everything back on that and get that right so I don't lose any of these parts that are laying here in front of me, and maybe that reel will function. Second, that's right, there's a second. Just give me a second. I'm giving you one, give me one. That's all I'm asking. Anyway, got a box. Now, you know when I get a box, man, I just, you know, my mom and dad used to say when I was a kid, you know, you could take Willie outside and give him all the toys in the world. But if you give him a refrigerator box, he's the happiest kid on the neighborhood block. And I was. A box and a stick, that's all I needed. Maybe one Hot Wheels car. This is a box from Dan. That's right, Dan sent me a box. He claims there's something in it. We're going to open it up and see what it is. And then maybe, if we can get this 1771 to function like it's supposed to, we'll take what's in this box and possibly go fishing. Possibly. Let's just go ahead and dig into this glorious box sent by Dan. It's always something cool when it comes to Dan. It's always some off the wall, weird kind of, and that's you know, that's the cool stuff. There's things out there that we just didn't know existed. Well, it's gold. Ooh. Look at this crazy machine. An Airex El Dorado. Look at that. Is that not the coolest gold you've ever seen in your entirety? It's like almost like a big dial, gold series. There's more moving parts on this thing than I care to talk about. Look at that button. Man. Now, of course, Airex is the company that's owned by Lionel Train Toys. You know, what am I popping? I'm popping bubble wrap with my elbow. I don't even know how this works. Oh, okay. This just pulls down, this little pin on the bottom pulls down, then you can twist the cover here, cap, and pop it right off. So let's just pop it right off here and look inside. Ooh, look at that. Hit the button, your center pin comes up, but it does something internally. I'm not taking this apart, so don't even think that I'm sitting here taking it. I'm not, because Dan's already done all the work and I'm not just going to disassemble it for fun. If it would have came to me in pieces and parts, and then I would have. Okay, so this obviously needs a regular casting rod. Airex, a division of the Lionel Train Company, made in US of America. Didn't have enough room for the whole thing there, but they got America in there, and that's what matters. America. Obviously, you have your drag on the side here. You also have another, what is that? Oh, that's your anti-reverse. Okay. Anti-reverse is a switch right here. Man, you talk about somebody put a lot of thought into something. I don't know what size line he's got on it. Let's look at it. It seems kind of thick. Maybe we can throw a 1/16 ounce. That seems kind of thick. That's like, I'm feeling like that's 8 or 10. Anyway, let me get this thing set up and stop hitting the button, and maybe we'll go out and try to catch a fish or 9 or 12. Okay, new problem. Because the 1771 is a spin cast reel from up top, and the other reel was a underspin, the rotor, take a good look at which direction it's spinning. Anybody see what's going on there? It's going the wrong way. The cut, I'm not even going to worry about showing you. The cut is facing the wrong direction. Okay? That's not catching the line and winding it onto the spool. Me and this reel, we're not having a good time. So what I'm probably going to end up having to do is find the correct spool for it, because the other rotor will not work with this. This would have worked perfectly had this thing reeled this way and was hanging this direction. But it's not working. Okay, enough with the 1771. I honestly don't know that I've had this much trouble with any reel since I've been doing this. But it's okay. It's not a setback. It's just a set aside for now. We'll just have to file that under, oh well, and we'll still go fishing, because now I have an open rod. Let's just go ahead and set it up and get ready, so that way when we get there we don't have to do it. Because, you know, I've got about a 52-mile ride ahead of me. Okay, I'm finding out that the El Dorado, the Airex El Dorado, is a very complicated machine. Now I can see and feel it's been taken care of. It's working quite well, actually. But just to get the spool and the rotor off there's some ABCs to this. So I'm going to put a little bit of oil in this thing. It's working pretty good. I'm not taking the side cover off because I don't know what's going to shoot out of there. And I got to get this thing back to Dan in one piece. Not in a Ziploc bag like the 1771. So let's get a little oil in it. I'm not really seeing much. Get some line on it and take it fishing. I took the line off because I think it's been there for a long time. Matter of fact, I'm pretty darn sure it's been there for a long time. So we've made it out to the campground. That's right, we're at the campground. I just drove over for the day just to do some fishing. It's quite populated today, but we're getting ready. And there's a special attraction. That's right, the original Wanna Go Fishin Express is with me today, as well as Goody, the $80 Goodwill Cannondale. We have the new, or new old, Abumatic 170 going out with us today. I am working on the new, 1963 if you want to call that new, 1779 with its new parts, or I'm sorry, 1799. Yeah, got to get that right. 1799 with its new parts and its new cap. Isn't that pretty? Now the question is, will we catch any fish? I'm thinking so. Yeah, fish are gonna happen today. I'm feeling it. Well, at least I figured out where the crappie are at. But man, it has been a struggle this morning to catch a fish. $17.99 gets its first one. Stop that nonsense. Nice little crappie. Probably gonna be the only one we catch. There we go. All right. I think what I'm going to have to do now is get that Airex changed back over again, because that's 2 and 2 casts. He'll probably swim away by the time I do that though. Hey, that fell right out of his mouth. Oh goodness. Let's get that thing changed back over. There we go. Come on, Mr. Airex. Bring her in. Come on, El Dorado. Oh, you caught a bass, El Dorado. That's impressive. Didn't know there was a bass out there. Thought this pond was nothing but crappies, but of course this guy has completely engulfed it. All right, little fella, swim away. Now, oh, that was a nice little hit right there just before I lifted it out of the water. It's another one I was telling you about, Andy, when I catch fish right before I lift it out of the water. What are you? Another bass. Another teeny tiny, small, microscopic, barely able to get the hook in his mouth, just left, moved out of the house bass. Get out of here. Heck's wrong with you? It again has a gear ratio, I'm assuming it is a lot like, oh, let's just say the Zebco bullet, where when you catch it, it leads you to believe it's a lot bigger. Oh my God, I got hit right there. A lot bigger than what it is. Of course, being tangled around the tip will also make you think that your fish is a monster. And the Airex gets another one. After a quick bait change, went to a little bit brighter color. It's actually one of my Charlie Brewer oops. What's all in your mouth, dude? One of the oops colors. Not sure what it was called, but it was an oops, and they weren't going to do it again anyway, so it's crappie. Well, I should have known if I'd have made that cast without turning that camera on, this is what would happen. It was the first cast with the 170, and I used the baby bass color. And we got us a little crappie. There we go. Got him off there. Thank you, sir. This 170 this is nice. My other 170, this is an older one. This is like 60s, where my other one is more 70s. They are supposed to have numbers on the bottom of the foot to tell you what year they are. But for some reason, none of my Abumatics have numbers on the foot. I don't know why. I've been told they're supposed to be stamped. It's not a decal. Nothing. I have no numbers on the feet. I do not understand what's up there, but I'm not the only person that's had that issue. Go online, you can, a lot of people are saying the same thing. You know, for some reason my Abumatic doesn't have numbers. Couldn't tell you why, don't know why. Okay, there's a fish right there. Don't you go to the bank. There's no need for you to go to the bank. You ain't got any money. Come here. Come here. Oh, all right. Shell cracker. Or is it? I think it is. I knew there was a fight going on there. A little bit more than I'm used to. Huh. I just don't, if I could only. Man, that fish hit, and I don't know that it just got heavy. He didn't even hit. It was just kind of like I got into a log or something. Where have all the big fish gone? Why do they always spin away from me like that? Stop it. What's the best tuna? Chicken of the sea. Seriously, I have eaten things out of a can that look just like you. Oh, got another one. He might be the last one of the day. He's a fighter. That's what I want. And it's a gill. Thank you, gill. You always got to end the day with a gill. I'm just saying. I mean, you don't have to listen to me, but... And a gill. I think that may be the only gill of the day. Pretty sure it is. Thank you, gill. So we are packed up and ready to head home. Got to stop by the gas station and get some ethanol-free gas for my gas cans. Ethanol-free gas, if you have a lot of lawnmowers and weed eaters and leaf blowers, it's a good idea. Just saying. Once you see all those little white marbles in the bottom of your carburetor bowl, when you have to clean it out every year, you'll start looking for that ethanol-free stuff too. Now, what was today? Today was a day of testing, I guess would be the best thing to say. Most everything that was out here, I have never fished before. Actually, everything was, because I haven't tried any of the reels that you saw today. Dan sent me the El Dorado by Airex, and let's talk about that real quick. One, I like the way it functions. I like the way it casts. It does have a decent distance for cast. It's not bad. But it does have that same ability to take a small fish and make it seem large. Now, I don't know what the gear ratio is on it, No idea, haven't done any homework. I literally took that thing out of the box. You seen me, you saw the box. Put some new line on it, oiled a couple things, and we went fishing. That's pretty much it. I asked Dan if he had already gone through it, and he said yes. So it was done. I did not have to take it apart. There is a lot of moving parts to that particular reel. If I had to dig into it, I would, but I have to thank Dan for going ahead and doing that for me. So it's a neat reel, but you can see where some of these companies back in their time frame, why they were no longer in business. I think some of them just overdid it. And I think people weren't looking for complicated spin cast reels. That's why reels like Zebco and those types are still around. Though they're not the, now I'm talking about the lower end and middle of the road kind of things, they're not the greatest things ever made, but they're still around and people are still buying them. And though they may not use them very long, it may be a child's thing or something like that, and they pretty much trash it and move on or whatever, they're still selling reels. Can't take that from them. Even Shakespeare. If you take a look, okay, we'll talk about the 1799 real quick. I like that reel. Right now with the new gears and the new cap, the way it looks and the way it functions, man, it is smooth. Man, it is smooth. But even with 6-pound line, I can cast an okay distance. I think I'm only lacking about 7 feet, maybe 10, you know, distance wise compared to, say, the Abumatic 170. Yeah, you know, it's a design thing. It's just a design thing. Sometimes some of that line comes off the spool easier than it does others. And I'm using all the same line on all 3 rods and all 3 reels. It's a Suffix Elite 6-pound line. All 3 have the same identical line on them. So it's just the reel. It's the design of the reel. Now, the 1799, again, really good looking reel and works, performs great. You just don't get the distance of cast. Now the 170, the Abumatic 170, man, I can't say enough about that reel. Even my other 170, my original 170, incredible reel. I really enjoy using those. I would say they rank right up there. My favorite 2 companies are going to be Johnson and Abu Garcia and the Abumatics. They are my favorite 2 reels to take out, vintage speaking, to take out and go fishing with. I just love the darn things. Even if they got a little bit of a roar or growl to them, I don't care. They cast well, they seem to be built well. And the great thing about the Johnsons are just being able to find parts, getting parts. Of course, if you know Gary, then you know you got parts. Just call him. He's got them. I'm telling you. I ain't kidding. Where the Abumatics, if you have an issue, might be a little bit harder to find what you're looking for to get it fixed. But so far, both of mine are great. The 60 and the 120, not so much. They're okay. They're all right. But they still have issues I haven't figured out yet. That's for another day. Anyway, hey, the $80 Cannondale and the old Wanna Go Fishin Express. A great team. Oh my gosh, man. The wind was screaming out here. Dust devils blowing on the gravel roads. And man, I'd put that thing down in first, second gear and just pedal on up hills and across the grass and whatever. It did perfectly. I can't wait to get that out on some longer journeys, because that's going to be a nice ride. It did really well. The shocks on the Cannondale in the front, and then the loaded seat pole that has the shock in it with the spongy little seat that's on. My gosh, I didn't even know I was riding a bike. It was great, just great. And the weight of all of my tackle and the camera equipment and 2 fishing rods were nothing. It was nothing. I powered through all of it. I probably rode 3.5, 4 miles around the campground today. Didn't catch a lot of fish, but you know, we caught fish, and that's what really today was about. It was testing everything, from the bicycle, the trailer, reels we haven't used. It was a good day. I had a good day. So I'm on my way back home now. Gonna grab me some lunch, some gasoline and some cans, and go home and take the rest of this Sunday and relax. So thank you guys for watching. I very much appreciate each and every one of you, and we'll see you on the next one, whatever the next one may be. And I don't know. I'm not kidding. I have no idea. Could be a Sabra. That was funny. It might be that one. I finally got the cap off. I'll tell you a little bit about that when that video comes up. Just did like Dan said, I just got a bigger hammer. See you guys later. Let's get this AC kicking.